Welcome everyone. Yes, sorry that Perks and Mad Doggy clogged up the time, but Tier 4 is done, Tier 3 is done. We've obviously seen a Tier 1 lovely clip by Mitchy, but yet finally got around from slacking the Tier 2 driver introductions. Frizzy's obviously helping me out here. We've got Haas. So Haas's lineup is Jishway and Defiant Diz, two drivers that are new to FormulaOCE. Jish obviously doing mad good at Rapid. And Defiant Diz, not really seen him race too often, but the Haas team, lofty ambitions, and due to Twitch TOS, we can't talk about Haas for too long, but Juice and Defiant hopefully get their feet running for the Haas boys. Yeah, we can move on to Williams now, Fry, if you would like to do that.
Yep, we're on Williams right now.
Beautiful. Williams, so new TP, howdy. Uh, welcome to the TP list, mate. He's in the Williams this season, the good old Willies. Fry and I have fond memories of that car. He is teamed up with as everyone knows, the Tier 3 champion of last season, Cubistic Flunky. This lineup it's another lineup where if they can get the ground running, I'm sure that they can definitely contend. Cubistic obviously will be unfortunately missing race one due to a naughty misdemeanor at the end of last season. But aside from that, he will be raring to go in Tier 2. Howdy though, Howdy is he quality pace. I'm not too aware of, but I think he'll surely hit the ground running in Tier 2. He's in there for a reason. He's a TP, so he'll be carrying the Williams with pride, as it always has been at OCE. But Williams are definitely a team that we'll wait and see if they can contend. Definitely for sure. Howdy and Cubistic, a new partnership, so yeah, we'll see how they go. Fry, if we can just move over to Alfa Romeo.
Yep, we're good.
Alfa Romeo, Muck Ping and Oxy, or Oxygen Thief, or Pippy Thief, or as Frizy knows him, fucking Thief, from the good old days. But Muck Ping and Oxy, Alfa Romeo, a strong contender for the championship, whether it be the drivers or constructors. I'm sure Oxy and Muck Ping will. Well, they race very hard over in other leagues. Being teammates, I'm sure they'll work together very well. Alfa Romeo, I'm sure it's if it's not drivers they're aiming for, it's definitely constructors, and they're one of the big teams. I say maybe the big. Honestly, it's hard to say. I reckon it could be five, six, maybe seven ways for this championship as it was last season. So, honestly, Muck Ping and Oxy. Muck Ping, obviously, we know is a solid driver. Considering looking at the lineups, you're expecting him to be in the points every single time, and Oxy as well. You expect both of these drivers to be in the top 10, scoring good points for Alfa Romeo this season. So they're going to be one of the teams to definitely watch and keep an eye on. Obviously, this Sunday coming up at Spain, there'll be the highlight. The spotlight will be on them, and that is a good transition over to the next team, Aston Martin. The spotlight is massively on Aston Martin. Mitchy 950 making his return to full-time racing, or hopefully full-time racing. Mitchy is tell you what, he is a hot pocket rocket ready to go for Tier 2. Obviously, I've never seen him properly race full-time before. I've seen clips from back in the day, courteously of Frizy and himself. But Mitchy, I've seen him race once. He got a P3 at France. He hadn't even practiced. So, fair to say, Mitchy be gunning for that Drivers' Championship. And I've seen a lot of predictions tipping him to take it. But not to count out his teammate, Chris. Chris 9F1, or as many of you know him as Poo9 F1, or he tells everyone he's crap. Transferred to the wheel. We've put him in Tier 2. I think it's only fair enough seeing his pace obviously drop off switching over, but he is somewhat of a dark horse. I think we can all agree on. He will be a driver that we can definitely see progression throughout the season as he does more and more on the wheel and practices more and more. Definitely a dark horse. And let's talk about the constructors. Yeah, Aston Martin. from what I've seen, Aston Martin are the favourites for Tier 2. Fair to say, and I'm saying that it's very bold, but I think with how everyone's doing, this Aston Martin are potentially the team to beat in Tier 2 this season. We will keep an eye on Mitchie at Brazil. I've been told he also wants to win Italy. We're doing Italy, so yeah, it'd be very interesting to see how these two line up. They're obviously very very close in the server as well as we know overseas. So yeah, Aston Martin potentially the favourites for drivers and constructors. I think it's fair to say that if they are, then there's some substance behind it. So that's Aston Martin pretty much summed up from what everyone has given me. AlphaTauri Fry, if you could just put that on the screen for me. AlphaTauri, the team principal, Pinju. Now he's commonly known as a bottle job, but on his day, arguably could be the quickest driver in this division. Now, this isn't to count out any other drivers, but on his day, we all know Pinju is a solid Tier 1 driver. Controversial statement put in there. But his teammate, Crunchy, very much on the pace of Jishway and a few of the other people. I can only... Look, I don't want to sound too harsh, but I could see a very good number one and number two driver forming here. Crunchy's very consistent. Pinju, not so much, but like I said, Pinju on his day can win any race he puts his mind to. Well, Crunchy will definitely be a driver to be looking at the points. It'd be interesting to see his pace. He's also a new driver to OCE, so welcome Crunchy. AlphaTauri, look, definitely top 5 is something that isn't out of reach for them. No doubt they will be pushing towards a more consistent Pinju, while his teammate hopefully paves the way, should we say, to push AlphaTauri into the points. Like I said, every team's very close, but no doubt you'll be seeing at least one AlphaTauri every week in the points. I have no doubts about that. And that leads me on to the most hated partnership, the Alpines. Now, I'm saying this because these guys, if it's not Mitchie and Chris, Alpine, these two, on their day, Storm Hutto and Rapid Def, on their day, they can get a 1-2, and they could handsomely get a 1-2. But, as we've seen a little bit of recently, a little bit of niggles popping in to both drivers in their individual campaigns. They are also commonly known as bottle jobs. Now, I'm not going to go into too much of Rapid, but recently the results haven't been too consistent, nor have they been too... I would say both drivers could say that they're not doing good enough. However, OC is a fresh season, a fresh plate to start on for these two. Daff is already a well-known ping driver, and on his day, honestly, some of the quickest qualifying pace you'll ever see. Definitely not Hugh Daff jumping on the rig, but let's not talk about that. But Hutto is a well-proven winner, especially at Britain. He's a winner at Britain, which is our first race of the season, obviously. And Spain, he doesn't do too badly. Obviously, we're not tallying points for the pre-season race, but Hutto, like I said, on his day, can definitely contend in a top 5 position in the race. Depends if he gets turned around or not. We all know Hutto likes to have a cheeky complaint or two, but all in good spirit, obviously. Alpine constructors-wise, definitely a top 3 team. Hutto and Daff, if they can nail their qualifying and they can nail their races, like I said, 1-2. The first 1-2 of the season, I could see being an Alpine. So hopefully Alpine aren't the flops team of the season, because honestly they have very high ambitions and they're expected to place very high up in the constructors and the drivers. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they fare, because anything other than top 3, and I'm sure they'll be seeing that as a failure as a 14-round season ahead. If Fry would like to put on the beautiful papaya McLaren though on the screen, this seat, the Ricardo and Norris partnership is occupied by none other than the TP himself, Krutakama, the Tier 1 flop, and Chunky Snags, who is arguably the most consistent driver in this division. We all know Chunky to be very, very consistent. And I fair to say, Kruder and Chunky are very much like Pinju and Crunchy for me. Whereas Kruder could arguably be quicker at most tracks. He also has a tendency to what's the word? Get himself into trouble, whether it be an incident or him making a mistake, bottle job, whatever you like to call it. Kruder though definitely has the capacity to win this championship. If he puts his mind to it, stays out of trouble, Kruder could definitely win this championship. Chunky could be another very strong contender. With his consistency, I swear he's the only bloke that I've seen that consistently misses out on not getting penalties every single race. So if that consistency can pull through, I think Fry's mentioned it for Tier 3. There's a few drivers where if they just don't get penalties, they could get so much more points on offer. And I think Chunky is definitely one of those drivers that can definitely, maybe be P8 on track, but on penalties will be lofted 3 or 4 positions, definitely. Absolutely, Chunky's, it's already happened. It's already happening all the time. So Chunky, if he keeps out of trouble himself, could definitely snag multiple more points than expected. As for constructors, McLaren are definitely going for it. They definitely have the team to go for it. And I do believe that they could go very far. Obviously, McLaren winning the overall constructors with Hutto last season. So, as a team, they will, as a new team, obviously under Kruder, they will all want to go back to back. So, McLaren, high ambitions and high expectations for them, absolutely. And the Tifosi's car, if we could just get the Ferrari on screen for it. Just let me know when it's on there, mate.
Yep, we're good.
We're good? Winter and Sways. Winter and Sways. See, Ferrari for me this season are very much the unknown. Winter will be missing, I do believe, 4 or 5 races due to a holiday, which is out of our control, so that's fair enough. All the best for his holiday, but Winter's another one of those drivers, just like Pinju, just like Kruder. Just like Daff as well, and Hutto, where he can, on his day, at certain tracks, this guy's a sweat. This guy's a massive sweat. we can't, I'm not slandering him, he's a massive sweat. I've never seen someone practice more, and considering he was getting beaten by Bajal last season to being one of the contenders for drivers, if not constructors, Winter is a very capable race winner, and no doubt, I would be very disappointed if Winter doesn't win a race in this season, in this division. His teammate Sways. Oh, yep, sorry.
Sorry to butt in.
Cut it.
I'd like to point out, Winter is also known as a bottle job. He bottled Mexico T3 last season from leading in first place. He got a drive through at the end, and he virtually threw his Xbox out the window after Mexico.
Yep. No, Fry makes a very good point. Tier 3 last season, Winter was fair to say he honestly could have won the championship had he not thrown so many races. So, yeah, Fry makes a good point. If he doesn't bottle, I wouldn't be surprised to see that Ferrari car win a couple of races this season. His teammate Sways, though, as I was saying, I do believe he has made the jump to a wheel. So, will he be very much like Chris, where his full potential will only be reached further and further into the season? So maybe it is a slow start for the Ferraris, but I expect them to come very back strong for sure. Ferrari, look, I know Perks is, he's assembled this team, but if we have to factor the realism, it's okay if they do not do so well. Just purely on the fact that of the circumstance, Sways obviously will only get better on the wheel, and Winter will when he does race, obviously due to his holiday, he will obviously do probably very well, no doubt. Multiple points, potentially multiple race winner as well. So Ferrari constructors wise, no high ambitions for them, but I'm sure, and this is in fairness to Mitchie, as long as they can score more than Ferrari did last season, I'm sure that they'll be happy and Perks will be happy with that. So yeah, Ferrari will be on their day, will be very good, but don't see them really contending too much for the constructors just due to the circumstances of their drivers. But they will be getting better, definitely. And if we could move on to Friesy's Red Bull. Friesy's Red Bull. Now, Friesy's Red Bull team is Sachs and Blaze Envy. Now, there's no doubt in my mind there's a reason why these drivers were picked by um, Friesy, especially Blaze. Obviously, watching Blaze all of last season, Friesy would know 100% that he is a wild card. In saying that though, Sachs is also a wild card. So I don't know much about this bloke. I've seen him do a couple of F2 races. Friesy, Dutchy, Mitchy, they all know something that I don't about this bloke. And there is something about this bloke, even Oxy. Oxy has put in a few comments as well. Something about this bloke. He could just be the biggest dark horse, biggest wild card, and we don't know it yet. Blaze Envy, honestly, I would say in the last 10 races of Tier 3 was the best driver there. Absolutely. So you expect he comes into Tier 2 for the Red Bulls with a lot of momentum and a lot of expectation on him. And I have no doubt, being in Tier 2 with faster guys, he will succeed and do very well. Sachs, on the other hand, like I said, for me, he's a very unknown driver, but I know, and I have been told, and I trust it on his day, this guy could wipe the floor. So Red Bull are a strong contender for drivers. Red Bull are definitely a strong contender for the constructors. It is going to be close, but I have no doubts Fry will see his Red Bull team in the top three, whether it be the drivers or constructors, and I've no doubt that's what they'll be aiming for. As both drivers get to know each other and we start to see a bigger picture throughout the season. Yes, and that Frizy, I'm sure, has a beaming smile on his face right now and has no doubts. Everything I've said now is very true. But yes, if we could just move on to the last team, the Mercedes. We'll put them on the screen. Fry will have them on the screen for you.
Yep, they're up now.
It is Goats for Life, an F1 legend. Now, I'm not going to chuck too much bias towards his team. I am a Mercedes driver myself. So, we all know Goats. Goats, fair to say, gave up. Gave up pretty much a Tier 2 championship. We can all agree on. And no doubt, if he puts his head down, we could see him up there again. Alongside the likes of many other drivers, but he will be a definite contender for Drivers' Championship. His teammate, F1 Legend. Now, I've met F1 Legend myself and a few of the other drivers, like Ping, Oxy, Chris, Hutto. And he is also an unknown. But this guy, on his day, from what I've seen over at another league, this guy could race. And he races very well. So, the only thing I'd like to mention about him is he's an underdog, and I have no doubt he will assist Goats in mounting a Constructors' Championship charge for Mercedes. They're another team that, like I said, they're looking to win drivers and constructors alongside Red Bull, alongside McLaren, Alpine, Aston, Alfa Romeo. So it'll be very interesting to see what the Mercedes can do. Obviously, as I'm not being biased, I'm sure that they'll do well, and I'm sure that they'll contend. But yeah, I just want to say thank you, Fry, for coming and helping me out with some. If he wanted to add anything, he more than likely can. Any predictions without being biased, I'm sure he could pop it in there.
Well, speaking of predictions, we'll do some rapid fire ones because I know you got a league race in about 10 minutes.
Yep.
So we'll do it quickly. But before we do that, so Kahoot is going to be commentating, but he'll be commentating the first 3 rounds full time. And due to daylight savings, he won't be able to commit all for the rest of the season. He might come back for 1 or 2 races throughout the season, but he can't do all of the season. So what's going to happen is I'm going to take over most of the season to help out. So there's a stream for Tier 2 and a video for Tier 2 as well. So just, just so there will be a Tier 2 stream every week. It's just me and Kahoot will be swapping
doing stuff.
Different parts of the season.
And just to add on to that, there will be also times me and Fry will both be doing it. So don't worry, guys. The Go-To duo will be back for sure.
All right. So predictions quickly. So who is your drivers' champion?
My drivers' champion this season will be none other. It's very bold, but I'm gonna back him. I'm gonna back Oxy. Oxygen Faith for Tier 2 champion.
Sort of
and
like
I'm sure you're about to say constructors.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a left field option for Oxy. Oxy's got to hope it's going to be raining for 14 rounds.
It might be. No. And if I had to pick a constructor, I wish I could pick all of them, but right now I'm not going to look past the Mercs. It might be biased, but I think the way that they'll be able to contend and they'll gel as a team would very well. If I hadn't, I would probably be looking at Aston or Alpine, definitely. So they're honestly, I said it while I was going through my introductions. It will be very close this season, drivers wise and constructors wise.
Race of the season.
Race of the season. The first one. I reckon the opener is going to be an absolute showdown. It's going to be a banger. Britain Grand Prix next Sunday. Can't wait.
Going to be interesting. Surprise of the season.
Surprise of the season.
So it could be a pole position. Someone gets a pole position from out of nowhere. A race winner, a podium, a crash, like something that you just don't expect. Happen.
I think Cubistic. I think Cubistic. The surprise. I think Cubistic will take home the the most polls this season. I could be. He's going to yell at me in the chat and be like, "You're so wrong," but mate, this guy puts his head down and he whips out some cracking results. So. If it's not winter, they're definitely Cubistic. The surprise of the season for most polls and for that Williams team.
So we're going to be a little bit harshy for Tier 2. We weren't going to do it for Tier 3 or Tier 4, but we're going to be harshy for Tier 2. Who gets P10 in the constructors?
P10. Look, I like I said, I wanted to be completely honest. I'm going to lean more so towards the Ferrari. Sounds harsh, I'm sorry, Perks, but with Winter probably only racing 8 or 9 races, while Sways is still learning the wheel, I can only see them struggling, but like I said, the form will come in the latter season, but I feel like it could be a bit too late. If not, then, I think Ferrari are my pick for P10, but like I said, it will still be, it won't, you know what I mean, the gap between P10 and P1 won't be as big as we think it will be.
Well, Perk's got to pick the correct reserve driver for Tier 2, so that could change while Winter's missing as well.
Yeah, absolutely. They could pull in a reserve driver every week, and he absolutely nails it. So fair deuces if that's the case. We can only wait and find out, obviously.
We'll do one more quickly.
Yep.
What do you think will be the worst race of the season? Like, they'll be the most,
sloppiest-ish?
Yeah, most boring. Like, nothing really happening. Someone's going to win by 10 seconds. Like, that type of race.
10 seconds. Are we doing Canada this season by any chance?
No.
We're not? Beautiful. No. Okay, well, I was going to say that. No, it won't be boring, but I can see a dominant victory happening in Jeddah.
Jeddah's not on the calendar.
It's not on the calendar. What's the other one called? Baku. Sorry, Baku. That's the one I meant to say. Baku, I can see a very dominant winner happening. I don't know who, but I can see someone absolutely running away in Baku. Very much like the Sappin did until Typhoon.
Typhoon. Yeah, that is it on my end. Do you have any predictions for me? Anything that you want to ask me quickly, or
Um,
are we
no,
Gucci?
no, I no, I just want to say thank you for helping me out. I appreciate you having me here. I know you're just as excited to me to see how this division goes, alongside tier three, of course, and all the other tiers. But I honestly, I think this is going to be the best tier two season yet, and I'm very excited to be the moderator for it, and I'm very excited to share the comms role with you for it.
Yep, looking forward to it. Be my first time commentating tier two, so I move up another level once again after tier three. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be interesting throughout the season. Championships in all four tiers probably gonna be as close as more so than last season, except for tier one. Um, but yeah, I think everyone on 0 points, clean slate.
Yep.
Championships probably going to come down to either Bahrain or Brazil, and I can't wait
Yeah,
for it.
absolutely. Oh, that's the thing. Just quick shout out to Rapid. Like that, you see that you're obviously in tier two. You see how close that stuff is every week, and I can see the same happening here. It's going to be millimeters. Some people knocked down in Q2 or Q3, Q1. So it's going to be they're going to be interesting.
Yeah, really going to be interested. Looking forward to it. Um, yeah, I think that is it. Unless you want to add anything else.
No, that was it, mate. Thanks once again. Thanks for being along for the ride and helping out.
No worries, my guy. Happy to help out.
Beautiful. Well, that's been our tier two predictions slash driver introductions. It'll be up on the FormulaOCE YouTube, no doubt, whenever. And you guys will all know about it when it goes up. And yeah, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you very soon for pre-season.
Which is, by the way, which is all tiers will be happening this week. So from Thursday to Sunday, T3 Thursday, T1 Friday, T4 Saturday, and T2 Sunday. All will be racing at Spain. Just, get the blood flowing a little bit, And then next week will be round one at Britain. Looking forward to it. Absolute
It's a beautiful
scenes.
track. Absolute scenes. Thanks, guys, from behalf of Kahoot and Frazi. We'll see you very soon.
Ciao.